What we actually mean by mental toughness is this. It's a personality trait which determines in some part how individuals respond mentally when we're exposed to stress, pressure, opportunity, and challenges, irrespective of the situation. Now, let's break that down because it's a little bit of a mouthful. It's actually a plastic personality trait, which means it's developable. We can both develop mental toughness and we can also lose elements of mental toughness depending on what's going on in our lives, and we'll explain why that's the case later on. It determines how we respond mentally, which is basically another way of saying how we think. A lot of other personality assessments and so on look at how we behave. Mental toughness is the only one that looks at how we think, and particularly relevant when we're exposed to stress, pressure, challenges, and opportunities. So where does this concept, this construct of mental toughness come from? Well, it started back in 400 BC with Plato, who was spent a lot of time talking about and writing about fortitude and contentment. About 500 years later, the Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, and others started to develop that concept a little bit more. And in the 1960s, there began to be lots of research into understanding stress and our stress responses and control and resilience. In the 1980s, two areas of work with Jim Lower, who's probably the world's top sports psychologist, who became the father or the grandfather of mental toughness term, and Susan Cabasa, who looked into hardiness, started to develop this construct. And then moving forward about another 20 or so years, Professor Peter Clough from various universities and others have developed what we now see as the 4C model of mental toughness. So as we can see, this has been in development throughout the whole of human time, human history. So we know that it's very robust as well. So can the mentally tough struggle and can the mentally sensitive succeed? Absolutely. As I said before, self-awareness, reflection, and purposeful practice are absolutely essential. The mentally sensitive can achieve just as much as the mentally tough. They're just going to feel every bump in the road. Mental toughness can, if you think of a car analogy driving along a bumpy road, mental toughness is that kind of suspension. It allows us to soak up some of the bumps and still move us forward. Being mentally sensitive, you can still get to the end of the road. You just might feel a little bit more bruised along the way, being able to do it. So it's not that it's good or bad.